right, again, we're going to call the meeting to order at 2:02. There is a quorum. You all are members of the WRA, just for your information. Everyone that lives here and is a resident is an official member, so you are a voting member, just to reiterate. All right, now I'm going to welcome Chuck Borst, our Executive Director, to the podium, and he's going to go through some things that are going on at Westminster that I think you'll really appreciate. And we're trying out a one-page summary of some of the finances that we'll be doing every quarter. So Chuck?
Thank you very much. So, happy anniversary, Westminster. 59 years. So does everybody know this guy? The guy in the middle? Harris Bell, right? Harris Bell Hall. This committee started the development of Westminster with a donation from Harris Bell of $25. So he was asked by the governor at the time to go around and visit convalescent centers in Texas. And he came back and he was so appalled that he pitched the idea to the Presbyterian church that was located here that they should take this piece of property that they had, 3.2 acres, and develop a retirement community. And that's how the whole thing started. A lot of people call it the $25 miracle. Because it kind of struggled at the beginning. This was phase 1. It opened April 1st, 1967, with 3 residents and 12 employees. A 31-unit hospital opened in July of 1967, and the first resident association meeting was held on June the 12th, 1967, and then the dining room at the time. The Preston building's actually been through 4 expansions on its own. Did anybody know that? Not yet. Phase 2 opened December 22nd, 1975. This addition added 80 units. Apartment total was brought to 225 units in 1975, plus a 31-unit hospital. Here's some of the advertising that we had back in the day. Notice there's a Windsor apartment, a studio, Windsor Efficiency, a Kent studio, lots of pizza slices Preston was made out of. Over the years, we've combined apartments and we created 2-bedroom apartments out of those smaller apartments over the years. We were also in the Texas Parade. I don't remember this magazine. Does anybody remember the Texas Parade? Yeah. So there's the first board. Back in the day, you can see it'd be your right-hand side. Those are healthcare beds, hospital units. The furniture looked a little uncomfortable back then. A lot of metal, a lot of wrought iron. And the food service looked a little different back then too. Kind of a little cafeteria style. And you can see the big bed rails. We wouldn't allow those today. Somebody might get stuck on them. The nurse with the hat. This is the first van that Westminster owned. The first vehicle that Westminster owned was a Pontiac, and it was bought through resident donations. And they traded up to get the van. '80 brought another expansion that added 110 apartment units, bringing the total for the Preston only to 325 apartments, plus a 70-bed hospital, which was located on the 2nd floor of what we call the Preston building today. Why do we call it the Preston building? Anybody know? Because we didn't want to call it the old building when we built the Windsor. No building left behind, right? So the Windsor building and then the Preston building. Phase 4 added the healthcare center, which is where I started, which was opened on July 24th, 1987 with 90 units, and that's that kind of wagon wheel building on the north end there. which was a 1960s design that they built in the 80s. But it was a fantastic building. The hospital on the second floor was converted to independent living apartments. The Westminster campus remained this way through 2011. In 2012, April 2012, Phase 1 of the Windsor opened to include 63 independent living apartments and 85-unit skilled nursing facility, 30 of which were dedicated to memory support, and a 22-unit assisted living. Phase 2, Windsor, opened in July 2013, and it connected the Preston and the Windsor building. So we built the Windsor building. We moved everybody from the old healthcare center in 3 hours. They had breakfast in the old healthcare center, and they had lunch in the new Windsor building. And because of all the natural light that came with the new building, everybody was perky. And people started falling all over the place. And so we had to change the way that we worked to catch up with everybody and prevent falls. It was really interesting. In 2022, Westminster completed an expansion of the Windsor, adding 18 independent living units and wellness amenities, and probably the best rehabilitation suite in the state. In 2023, Westminster completed the Carlisle building, adding 43 independent living and 78 assisted living memory care beds. We really are extraordinary together. A lot of change, a lot of good change. Well, thank you all for participating so much in Spirit Week. So we had a lot of fun, right? How many of you participated? All right, good. You're going to come to my chat at the end of the month, and we'll be giving out prizes, right? Here's some pictures of folks participating. This is Blue and White Day. Looking sharp, and they're blue and white, because blue and white is our community colors, right? Tie-dye Day, which Danny barely participated in. He's got a little tie-dye shirt glued onto his big shirt there. And then favorite sports team day. A lot of Houston, a lot of Texas. I kept my Cardinal emblem really small, so nobody saw it. USA, of course. Crazy Socks Day. Look at the one at the bottom middle. Those are glued on. That's a lot of spirit right there. Superheroes Day. Hawaiian Shirt Day. Animal Print Day. Is Max in here? I mean, that's a really good look for Max. Look at that leadership team. That's a lot of animal print there. It gives me a reason to wear my animal print shirt. It's really not accepted anywhere else. I kind of look like Fred Flintstone, somebody says. Anyway, so this slide is very interesting. This is kind of presents the financial ratios for our community, which are green. Green is good. So our operating ratio, 90.76, is much better than the CCAC median. So that is, CCAC median is CCRC, which is what we are, Continuing Care Retirement Communities median. So we're beating that really well. This is the end of last year. Our net operating margin is about 7.08%, also beating the median. The net operating margin ratio, 26.82, beating the CCA median by 6%. Unrestricted cash and investments to debt, 87.85%, also beating the CCAC median. Days cash on hand, 916 days. The CCAC median is less than 300. Days in AR, 9.6. How many of you would like to run a business with days in AR at 9.6? Thank you for paying your bills. That really helps us. Accounts receivable. So that's how many days it sits in accounts receivable before the bills are paid. Which is extraordinary. The CCAC median is 19 days. Senior living, nursing homes, and assisted livings is more like 100 days. The average age of facility is 7.64 years. The CCAC median is 12.5. Why do you think our average age of facility is so low? Because we keep going, don't we? We keep investing in our community. The board is very purposeful there. And that's all I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I find this history just fascinating. $25, that's a pretty good investment if it was one of the individual ones. I first want to recognize our guests. I'm very excited that Diane Williams, our new board of directors, is here. And Lynn Sherman, Max's son, who just joined the board. I think he's there too. He's the tall one. So thank you both for taking extra time because it's been a busy day. You all have on page, your next page, remembrances, those who left us in the last quarter of last year. And I would just like to add, before we take a moment of silence, 3 friends who passed away last week, one of whom's son is on our board of directors, and that's Jan Skurlock, Kathleen Latelme, who's been my friend for 8 years, and Hamilton Beasley, who I feel like was my friend for 8 years. So please give a moment of thought. Thank you so much for that. We also next, it's very exciting, have our new residents for the first quarter of 2026, January, February, and March. And I hope you're all here. Raise your hand if you're a new resident. Ooh, that's pretty tentative. Thank you for coming. Believe me, it won't be this hard the next time. You'll know exactly what's going on. And now, I'd like to call Laura Mendenhall to the podium to present the minutes from our last meeting.
Our last meeting was December the 8th of 2025. And those minutes were written by Andy Reeves, and she was a fabulous secretary. So, I know they're well written, but there still may be some additions or corrections. And if there are any, please let me know. Andy doesn't care anymore. I think she's here, so forgive me. She does care. But if there are any, please let me know, and I will make sure those are taken care of. But in the meantime, I move that these be recommended, accepted.
Second.
Who said second? Ron. Ron did, okay, good. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you. Ron, you're on next, our new treasurer.
Good afternoon. This is a full crowd. On the last 2 pages of the handout are the 2 items. One is the financial position statement as of March 31st. It's the landscape one. And I will just call your attention to 3 things on there. One, we have $117,000 in the bank. $91,000 of that is in CDs earning interest, and the other part is getting one of those 0.4% interest, almost nothing. And below it is the allocation of that same $117,000 to various funds. At the bottom, 3 lines up of the right-hand corner, you'll see a negative number, minus 5,158. Now, if you flip over Some of us would used to call this income statement, but we'll call it activity statement. And I'll call your attention to 5 items here. Hidden Treasures and the Fundraising Committee, those 2 committees have raised a whole bunch of money for us that we use in all the other committees. 2 great committees, chaired by Gail Ross on Hidden Treasures and Francis Woodbrick and Ann Wynn on fundraising. And they've even got more than what they have in here now. I called your attention on the bottom of that negative 5,158, and you'll see that's caused by 14,500 in grants that went out. Thank you. And that's what caused that deficit for the first quarter. Everything looks good going in. If you ever have any individual questions of what's in these accounts, I can show you the general ledger, which I did at the past board meeting. And then one other thing was, Andy Reeves has given me suggestions for, and Bernie Schiff also, labeling these more in line with a nonprofit, and I'll promise to get to that soon. If there are no media questions, move approval of this financial report.
Second.
Thank you, Cynthia.
Cynthia seconded. All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the financials. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. Now,
Maria, if you will take the microphone to Frances Woodrick. She's going to tell us some exciting news.
I have very, very exciting news, especially for Ann and myself. We sold out of tickets today, so we are very, very happy. And I want to thank you all who provided buying tickets and donations. And in case there's a few people that find that they can't attend, on the back counter, there's a sheet of paper. You can sign your name. And also, if you need to sell your tickets, you can sign your name, and the 2 of you can get together and work that out. They will be placed at the Arbor receptionist and the Preston receptionist. So you know where to find them. And come and have fun. Ann and I are really looking forward to it now that we're sold. So, thank you.
Thank you, Frances. And congratulations, that's great news. Is there any new business? I'll just tell you that in the future, we will be giving you those parameters. If you have some new business that you can bring to the executive committee ahead of time, because we do really need to approve motions and make sure they're in the right format and everything before we bring them up. Not saying it's disallowed, but we would ask your help in giving us some time to maybe see where we are in a process or what we need to do so that we can come with plans instead of just an issue. So I ask that you will do that, and we will communicate to you about anything like that, how to go about it. That being said, I just want to say we're all having a lot of fun. We're excited to be representing you. We're getting a lot of feedback, as you may imagine, and we really want that. But we need some time to assimilate it and make some plans around some of those things. But I want you to know that everybody goes about things differently. I'm going to be different than Camille. Camille was different than Boyd. Boyd was different than Tibby. We're all different humans here, and we've got 500 of them, so that makes life a little interesting. So hopefully, and I know you will, tell me if you don't like something that I'm doing, and I may not change, but at least I'll know it. So we really want to listen to all your concerns, and we want to talk and make this community the best that it is. We know it already is in the state of Texas, but it's always better for each of us. The world is changing rapidly. I think it's important that we keep up with the world around us too. We can't be insular, we can't just hunker down, although there are days that I'd like to do that. Just pull a giant duvet over the whole campus and say, today's an off day. But we don't get to do that. So I want, when we do make changes, because there's a lot of them coming to all of us every day, that we can do it thoughtfully, respectfully, and listen to each other. We don't have to be like the rest of the world, because it takes a lot of people to bring up good ideas and bring up different viewpoints. And there's always a good way to do something, and there may be more than one way to do something. So I hope that we can do that, and I know that we can, because I've seen us do it before. We're going to use more ways to communicate, as many as we can think of. Some of them may be hokey, okay, some of them may not work. We won't do it again. But we're going to try some new things to help us all remember, because gosh, I don't know about you, but I will forget something probably today, and I apologize in advance, even though I have it written down. We're going to use the portal and the banner and signs and talking and meetings off, in different buildings, all trying to get to know each other, get to understand each other, and figure out how we can make this a way that we can all be happy, not every day, but some of the days. Two issues that I've been hearing a lot about, and I want to know that you're listened to and that it's under consideration and we are working. The first one is really a Preston issue right now, and that's the furniture and the artwork. I appreciate that everyone doesn't like that, and I appreciate that some of you do. And I appreciate that the biggest thing I want to say is it's not finished. There's a lot more to happen. But furniture comes in early, and we don't have a place to put it, so we set it out where it is kind of sort of going to belong. I've talked to Chuck, and we'll throw out the plastic plants if you want us to. Maybe not throw them out, but just, that might be your bingo prize next. Because somebody's going to want those. We have ways to communicate, and we will be communicating further as we get closer to finishing that project, because there's a lot to be done. There's still sprinklers to be put in, and there's still some other work that's going to mess up floors and the walls will have to be repainted. So before we do a lot of prettying up, we've got to get through the next, we'll say 6 to 8 weeks. And that may be generous, so I'm not promising that. I'm just saying in general, it's going to take a little bit of time. But we're listening, we know you have some concerns, and we'll plan a time to get together and discuss those. We're also, the WRA is going to put out a little box for actual suggestions, not just complaints. Don't say, I hate peach, that doesn't help. A specific suggestion. That's what we're looking for. The next issue that's come up is art in common spaces. The common space belongs to Westminster. I mean, it belongs to all of us fractionally, but that's where our differences come into play. I like some of the pieces, I don't like others. Again, right now we're focused on the Preston, but it has also been an issue in Windsor, the Carlisle, so it comes up routinely. So we're going to listen to your suggestions, but some things will probably stay the same, and color schemes and things like that for at least a while. Nothing lasts that long anymore. So hopefully you will still be there for the next rehash when we're all trying to bring in newer ideas, because I hate to say this and be somewhat commercial, but we have to keep up with the people we're trying to attract to move in, so that our monthly bills don't go up 10 or 12% like some of our cohorts around. We can keep to these 3 to 5% and keep bringing in people and keep being at our 98% or 97% occupancy. It's really important that we keep that occupancy up. It's true, the rumor's true, we've got 200 people on the waiting list, nowhere to put them. I'm not suggesting any of you leave either, but we like that. We like that high occupancy, because that helps each of us in this room. So we will be talking more about the space that's common. And unfortunately, we want to keep rules to a minimum in independent living, but one of the rules, you can't put up your own artwork outside your door. There's all kinds of liability associated with that. We do have people from time to time that borrow things and we don't know where they went. And it's important that we let there be a common space, and then we'll do our own special things through Sue Gillum's committee, where she's gonna have a lot more room to display more artwork that all of you like and personally have meaning, so that we can put it up for all of us to see when this phase 4 is over. So I think that'll be a good way to show off some things like that. We also have had a lot of discussion recently about differences in the dress code. I have to say, in 8 years, we have gone through this, what, Camille, about 18 times. Again, we're a very diverse group of people. We come from different backgrounds. We have different ways of thinking about what's casual versus business casual versus dress up versus whatever. I respect that. That's going to take a little more time for us to, it's a WRA responsibility. That's something that the Residents Association came up with. That's not management. So you can complain to Chuck and Sarah all day long, but they didn't come up with that. That was what we came up with. And I think the last time we voted on it was about 3 years ago. So what I'm pledging to do is talk to the Residents Association Executive Committee. We're going to look and review what's currently in place and see if it's still reasonable this many years down the road. Because again, the world's changed. You can go to Carve in shorts. You can go to the best steakhouse in town. You can go to all the country clubs. Sloppy, showing skin. Some of those things are not appropriate. But I also want us to think, because I want your suggestions, and we'll have a box for that too, but that will be after we get through with a different plan. We have to consider that we live in a place we're living in community, and things happen. If last week wasn't an example, things happen rapidly to us and to our cohorts and our fellow residents. You might, hopefully not, but I might have to be in a wheelchair tomorrow. Maybe I can't get long pants on. I will do everything possible to make that happen if I have to. So there sometimes need to be accommodations made for families who are here grieving because their family is in transition to their final resting place, and grandchildren are coming in. They may be 40-year-old grandchildren, but nonetheless, they hopped on a plane, they didn't bring a nice pair of dress pants. So we need to be considerate, and it's really a big burden on the staff to have to call out people. And I understand that there have been some inconsistencies, and Chuck and I will discuss that with the Food and Beverage Committee. But I'm going to tell you that as the WRA looks at the current policy, we're going to try to consider all that. And it's hard to do that ahead of time. But we want to do our best, but still consider our fellow residents who are in need or have special needs or just feel like they are having a bad day and they still want to go down to the Rowan Bar and have a cup of soup and they still have their shorts on. I've done it, not in shorts, but I've done it in a t-shirt. So, I try to do it very late, but there just are days that we need to be considerate, and we can't have everything be the same. So we're going to work on it. We're all going to talk about it together. I don't care if I get 500 suggestions, but it's important for us to have a nice place to show off and bring our friends, but we also need to consider all the people that are living here. So I just ask that of you. Not lecturing, not giving a sermon. Anyway, I thought of this last night because of the diversity of our community. It just suddenly dawned on me that I knew it was going to be really hard, because with 500 people, you get 500 different opinions. the meatloaf, for example. Some people want ketchup on it because that's how grandma did it. Some of them want barbecue sauce, and some people want brown gravy. Some people don't want anything at all. Some people want bread in it. Some people want oatmeal. My goodness, you just start doing the math on that, it's immense. And I thought the only way, a good analogy is a DNA helix. There's so many different genes, AKA ideas, that we can't possibly have them all. But we can come to some ideas about what's good, what we really need to deal with, what's most important in our lives, and I think that's where we want to go, and that's where the executive committee wants to go as well. But hey, we're happy to listen to anything if you just want to vent, because we know we all have to do that as well. And I'd be remiss, I'm trying in my banner articles to address a lot of questions that come up about fundraising, so I'm not going to beat a dead horse on that. We've been very successful. But I always want to end, and we're going to end the meeting and then play bingo. Don't worry, there are prizes. Talking about successes. So, of course, Anne, Francis, and their husbands, because they help too, just have created a great fundraiser, which is a good time. And those funds we use to run the committees. We pay for the banner printing. You'll see it on your chart now. We're showing it a little differently. We buy new books for the library every month. And the big print, I have to tell you, are getting more and more expensive. There's all kinds of little things that we do. And this year we're going to also focus some of our excess money on helping start up the CARES Foundation, which we'll have more information about as we go along. So we're all excited about that too. But some other successes. The hidden treasures. I know I saw Gail and I saw Nancy Ditmar, because she's over there volunteering to pass out your snacks. They have exceeded their budget, as you will see, by like $1,500 with creative ideas and getting more people into the shop. So kudos to them. Kudos to Mikhail and to Jeanette, because you two have done a great job. Mikhail kind of took over the newcomers dinners last year and did what I think you said 57 just in 2025, and then Jeanette's picked it back up for this year, and I know I've seen quite a few of them, quite a few of you enjoying this. So that's a great way for us to get to know one another in a smaller group. The banner, of course, Pat Wright does a great job. She does have a poster, even though she's a one-person committee, but she has information about how you contribute an article or a joke or what kind of print needs to be. So if you're interested, she's back there. She will be. And then Cynthia Leach with ACC. We've exceeded our initial goal of 100,000. We'd love to make that bigger so that we can offer 2 scholarships to individuals who will may be working for us one day. And I know that Brian's working closely with ACC and food and beverage, and we've got a lot of things going on with some of the nursing schools. So that's all good. And I know I've left out some successes and some great things, but just know you've got, when you really think about it, 20, 21 committees, and we've got 10 to 12 people, sometimes 20 people, hidden treasures. We have a lot of our residents involved, and it's very exciting. Some of them don't take new members till December, but a bunch of them need help all the time, so I urge you all to get involved. And if you have any questions or things you want addressed at our quarterly meeting, please let me know. Please let any one of the members of the WRA know, and we will be happy to take that up. I am going to adjourn the meeting right now. Let's see, is there anything? Oh, wait, I have one more success. Can't live without it, right? This is the privilege of the 3 of us, myself, John McGee, and Charlie McEwen, who are your designated members to the board of directors that Diane is chairing. We get to hear a lot of fun facts and then we forget them, but I think this was really important. Cassie, who is running the health center, gave a presentation, and we have had less falls there than in our independent living, so we need to keep that, it's a contest now. This sounds kind of crazy, but like 0 bed sores, that's a big deal. 0 people being restrained, that's a big deal. We are like top in the state, if not, I'm sure up there in the top few in the country, of all, just right down the line, like 15 things that we are doing rock solid. So if something happens to me, I prefer being here than just about any place. So we're doing a great job with cleanliness and infections and all that good stuff, like beating everybody. So it's something for us all to be proud about, and our wonderful staff that really works hard in the background. You just have no idea what's going on until you hear a snippet. So I thought that was really a great success for Westminster and for us to know about, because it is important to each of us. Now, before we adjourn, none of any of the things we do happen without people volunteering, and sometimes volunteering for a long time and doing more than they're asked. So I want to honor 5 people who, because of term limits, are not on our WRA Executive Committee anymore, with the exception of Camille, but she's non-voting. But I think they deserve our round of applause. They also deserve a little remembrance, which didn't come in, but I'll get that to you in the next week or so. So first, Camille, would you come up here and stand, please? Camille served on the board as a member at large. I couldn't think of the name. And then she moved on to be our president for the last 4 years. So she did a great job, and that takes a lot of work and a lot of toll. There's a lot of time invested in that. Sharon Verlander, thought I saw her. Okay, I don't see her. Jim Woodrick. And Jim, I'm sorry, I don't remember if you were a member at large first, but he was a designated member, also served on the board of directors for several years. You remember that from one of the Chuck Chats and the annual meeting, so thank you. Nancy Collins. Nancy was a member at large, but she was a liaison and had 5 of the committees that that worked with her, and she did a great job, was always Johnny on the spot, and we really, really appreciate her work because she took on the job with Andy of doing the nominating committee, and it is not something you all probably want to sign up for tomorrow. And then Andy Reeves, I know I saw Andy, there she is. Andy stepped in and served as our secretary last year, and also, as I said, co-chair of the nominating committee, which is, again, a big fun, she said. And that's what we need, is people with a good attitude, because that's what it takes. So please join me in a round of applause. I assure you they'll get something that will show up in Hidden Treasures one day. All right, now I'll accept a motion for adjournment. Cynthia moves that we adjourn a second. Okay, over here we have a second, and with that, all in favor of adjourn, then I will explain the bingo, so don't leave. All in favor of adjourning? Aye. Okay. Does everybody have a bingo card? And a pen? All right. We're going to try this. This is one of these communication things because everybody that moves in and even has been here a while asks about committees. So, our ace bingo caller, Charlie McEwen, is going to call out the name of a committee. I'll give you a one-word answer of what they do. You can mark it on your Whoever shouts out bingo first is the winner, and Roland will bring you your prize. So the first 4 games are just in a row, up or down, it doesn't matter, 4. And this requires a little speed too. And then the last 5 will be a full card. All right, let's try this. Are you ready, Charlie?
I think I am.
Okay.
The first committee is the Dog Owners Committee.
Yes, now that is a new committee, and that is hoping, thanks to Bill Lay, who has taken on the mantle of chairman of that. Okay.
Next committee is Buildings.
Yeah, that's Cynthia Leach, and that is a committee that looks at all the things that when you're out walking the dog from the Dog Owners Committee and you see a crack or something broken or something sticking up. Now wait, it's not on every card. How does bingo work, folks? I know it's on some of them. I checked them all. Okay, next.
Food Committee.
Woo. Everybody's favorite, and I'm not being facetious, because every person here has a comment about food, and probably will continue to do so. So, see if you have that. Next.
Hidden Treasures.
Woo. Hidden Treasures started out as something to help associates and help us clean out our apartments, but it's turned into a real social event. We're trading clothes and kind of acting like we're in college again and having a great time doing it and still helping the associates at the same time.
Art Committee. Art Committee.
Yeah, that thanks to Sue, who takes that on and helps us have all the lovely displays. And I said I probably would forget something. She's back there with her ace helper, and she's got the lavaliers, the beads for you if you need one for your clicker, your emergency button. And those are free, and they're back there at the back table.
RAF, the Residents Appreciation Fund.
Yes, and that is something that is a gift from us to employees. It's once a year. It's deductible to us, and it's not taxable to we don't give tips. Think about it this way. You have $515 a person. That'd be $100 a month in tips if you gave an average of 20%. So I really think $500 or $600 a year should be $1,200, but I'm not going there. Don't get scared. But just when you do the math and think what you would pay if you were out to get the service we get, it would be very high. So appreciate it, and we appreciate the employees, and that's when they get a check at the end of the year for right before Christmas. Or the holidays, sorry.
Landscape Committee.
Right here. Okay.
Number 1, Roland, where are you? Okay, that's the first one. We're gonna do another, no, only one, Roland, only one, and he was first. Whoever yells it out first. I said, you gotta be speedy. And you can only win once, so, yeah. It's a free cookie in the bistro. Okay. Hey, you get to choose your own. Okay, we're doing a new game now, so you have to start marking again, okay?
Interfaith. Interfaith.
Okay. Another cookie.
I think we're starting. We're starting over?
It's a new game. New game.
We're starting
Well, a
over.
new winner, you can keep your card and just mark on it.
We'll have at least 3 more calls.
All right, Bob, did you get your coupon? Bob is the next one. All right, keep going, because some of these will be, they're all different, the cards are different, so.
Welcoming Committee. The Welcoming Committee.
Okay, Who said that?
Pam.
Okay, Pam. I can't see her. All right, keep going.
Arbor Committee.
Right there.
Well, she beat you. Now, the next one is to cover the whole card. All right, so now you need to have all 16 checked.
Wellness Committee.
They bring us lots of wonderful programs.
Writer's Journal. Writer's Journal.
Okay, there's,
Whole card?
oh, sorry, okay, whole card. All right, keep your cards going, all right.
Sustainability. Sustainability.
Thanks to K-Arms, that's now its own committee, and it'll be dealing with more than just green containers. And I know she's happy about that, and I know as a group, we're happy about that. Yeah.
RAF, Residents Appreciation Fund.
Yes.
Landscape.
The whole card,
Activities.
You have the whole
Activities.
the whole card. Everything.
Yes. So if you have dog owners or dog committee, you can make 2 marks on your sheet.
Hospitality.
Okay, I heard a bingo. Okay. Oh, Tibby. Tibby, you get $5 off in the little store. Okay, so, yes. So that's it. Now, you know what the committees are. They've all got posters around the room. There'll be a representative. So while you're getting your snack, getting your drink, you can stop and ask them, talk to them about the committee, and it'll just be another way for us to learn what's going around at Westminster. Thank you.